Hello, Shalon Winter here. As always, here is the risk disclosure. You can lose all your money trading futures. Futures is risky. Know what you're doing before you do it. So just take a moment, pause the video, read over that if you would like. All right, we're going to move forward here. Today's trade session review, it's Thursday, August 18th. And I wanted to show this one especially today because I had a really good market read on an LRE. Some people saw it, some people missed it. And I wanted to show why I took this one. This actually happened right when I started. I sat down. I didn't even really get to analyze the market very much to start, but I did, as you can see. Looking at the market here, it's trending up, right? Kind of hit a point up here and then started pulling down, right? We have the plus 2.5 deviation, kind of some OP in here, some walls. So it's coming down. So I'm going to hit play here. And, we have a simplicity short going. And I want to show you the trade first. And then I'm going to pull up some charts here and really, dive into it. If you've been following my LRE, if you don't know how to do an LRE, I break down. I have a link here. I break down how I do my LREs, what I look for. And I look for a lot of tops and bottoms, support and resistance areas for it to break through, pull back, and test. If it's in a trend, I look for HD, ODD, levels, things like that. So as it's coming down, right, I see, let me hit play, let it play while I'm talking. So I see, so this is a simplicity short, and actually right here was an LRE, but I already missed it because I just sat down. So, but I do see it coming down short. So if you look left, as this was coming along, it hit this wall up here, pulled back, had some HD, couldn't get back below this wall, and went long. But if you look further back, look at this wall. It made its way up there, hit it, came back to this wall, bounced, hit it again, couldn't really break it, came back down, not as far down, and then went through. Came back, and then went back up. So now as it's coming back down and giving me a simplicity short here, I'm looking to see if it's going to respect the same areas. Now, one thing you'll see here, as it comes back down, you see back here to the left, we had a mini magnet on this wall previously, but it got exactly there, couldn't break, came down, got there again and struggled, left double clusters, came back down, then broke. So you see there's a little bit of a struggle before it broke through. So this time coming back down, look what it does. Yeah, we have a little bit of a wick here, but it came through pretty clean, right? So what that's telling me is that if this comes down and starts to pull back up to test this area, it'll probably bounce off of it this time. Because if it comes through clean and then goes back to it, it's usually not going to go clean back through it again. It's coming down clean and going back up to test it to say, do I really want to keep going down, or do I want to go back up, or what do I want to do? So as I'm watching it come down, now also on the 30-tick chart, I want to note down here we have a ZOI crash on the 30-tick chart. So as this simplicity short is coming down, I already would have a target down here. So I'm expecting it to come down here, and it might go straight shot to the ZOI crash. If it does, then, well, not much I can do there. But if it doesn't make it to the ZOI crash, pulls back up to this area where I think it's going to go test, then I'll get in here to go short back down. And so if you look right now, I just got in. Look exactly where the price is. Testing the double clusters right here. This very well could go up and test the wall, but my stop is up here. So it's fine. If it broke through this wall, I don't want to be in it anymore. I want to get out. So my stop being there is perfectly fine. My profit target, I could have moved it to the ZOI crash down here where I thought it would go. But I have a wall. I already have another ZOI right there on the 30 tick. So I'm safe just taking my 20 ticks and calling it, done with that trade right there. Right? So I'm in. If you look at price, it's exactly where those double clusters are, because it could come up to the double clusters and go down, or it could come up to the wall and go down. But I don't want to miss it either way. So I'm in. I grab my stop. I'm ready to drop my stop around break even if this gets really close to my profit target, because that's how I always manage my trade. Okay, now I'm sitting here waiting. And this wasn't a very big pullback. It was only one bar. Little bar and a half, basically. But right at those double clusters. And I am fully expecting that this could come up and test the wall. So if I'm in a negative position for a little bit, I'm okay with that. I'm expecting that. So it's working its way a little bit. See, I'm hovering my crosshairs. I'm just measuring out things, but I'm working my crosshairs pretty soon here, right now, to be ready to break even once price gets very close to profit. Okay. And if you look left over here, where that ZOI is, where my profit target is, that was a ZOI crash, right? And look how many times it came down and chopped around it. So for me to go further than that, there's not really any point. So now 15 ticks. It hit 15 ticks profit. Once it gets to 16 or more, I'm going to drop my stop to break even. And it's behind that little ZOI, so that's great. That ZOI right there. So now we're at 15, 16 ticks. I drop my stop. Protect in case if this wants to run up. And I'm behind that ZOI. One tick in front of my entry. So now just let it ride. And I'm waiting, and I'm going to show you the 30 tick and everything else that I saw too here in just a second. Okay, seeing it's right there, just waiting. And there it goes. It hits the target. There's the simplicity chart. Pulled back up here. See where it pulled back? There's the solid line. So it pulled back pretty much right there. But I got into where those double clusters were. As you can see, I hadn't even had time to refresh my simplicity chart here to get the dots right. And my 10 tick down here to get my Lorex indicator right. Down here, I hadn't even, because I just sat down and saw this, did a quick analysis and said, "Ooh, I like it." Okay, so that was that. And as you can see, it keeps going a little bit. Okay, now let me bring over the 30 tick. Here was what I was seeing as I sat down. The 30 tick was about right here. And look down here. Here's that one ZOI, and then here's the crash. Right? So as this is coming down, this is more than likely going to hit this crash. Like, I don't see why it would not. There's no reason why, with the simplicity short running down, there's no reason why it would not come down and hit this crash. So that's what I'm seeing on the 30. And look, there it is. hits the crash. So that's why that was my target pulling it down, right? Let me bring this back here. See, here's the crash, which on the simplicity chart, it's kind of spread, but on the 30 tick, it's pretty much right on top of each other. But as simplicity short's coming, the question is, if it breaks this wall, will it break the wall or not? Once it broke this wall, there's no doubt this thing's going to come down to that crash with this simplicity short. So here was a LRE also. I would have liked that one, which was right here where this mini magnet was laid. That would have been a really nice one. And that one, I probably would have put my target down here and took a really nice run. And that way, just whenever it got close to the wall, I would have moved to break even to see if it breaks the wall. And as soon as it breaks the wall, I'd have put my stop right behind the wall and just let it run down. That would have been a very nice, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50. That would have been about a 58 tick run or so. That would have been a really nice one. So anyways, here's the crash down here. Okay, so I saw that. You see the simplicity going. The only obstruction was that wall. It breaks the wall. You're most likely going to that crash. And there it is on the 30 tick. That's what I was looking at. Okay. Now let me bring the 10 tick over to show you. Like I said, this is coming down. And the main thing is, as these bars come down to the wall and it goes through clean. See how clean it came down? When back here, it had this struggle. Came down, you have the double clusters, and then doesn't hit the ZOI crash and pulls back. So when it pulls back, I'm expecting it to at least go to the double clusters, maybe even the wall. And as soon as it does that, if there's an LRE entry, I'm hopping in. And in this case, right here where the double clusters are, if I get in anywhere in this area, my stop is going to be behind the wall, and I'm okay with that because, like I said, if it breaks above this wall, I want to be out anyways because more than likely, if it breaks above this wall, it's going to keep running up. But if it stays here and doesn't break above, it's running down to that ZOI crash right there, without a doubt. Sure enough, I got in. There you go. And it went down. And it kept moving down and then kept going. So then there was a couple reasons why I didn't take some trades. Let's see. Let's bring this over here. That was the only trade I took, by the way. So I don't take any more trades this day. But I want to show why I did not take, let's see, a few trades. Okay, nothing happens here. I refresh my charts to get it right. Okay, let me fast forward here. Here we go. Yeah, so we had this market came down to the wall, up, down, laid all these three ZOIs here, right? So this is kind of a bottom. So if I'm looking for an LRE now, I need this thing to run up further or break this bottom and come back up and test it, right? That's what I like for my LREs. I like when it breaks out and comes back and tests it. So here we see it starting to break out. The simplicity chart, let me see if I can, let me pull that up real quick. While that's running, So let me fast forward. It's trying to break down. So now it breaks down. Okay. As that's breaking down short, here was the simplicity chart. Right? So you got a simplicity short coming down. It hits this ZOI here, as you can see on the simplicity chart. So a good area to take an LRE, if it pulled up, would be around this wall and ZOIs here. It could chop in the ZOIs if it got too far up, but since it hadn't broke through that, see, all this here, it never broke through and it finally breaks out, I would like to take a short around this area, normally. But what do you have here? We have a Lorex long, right? Now, let's see. We had settlement down here, so it seemed like settlement was pulling it down, but then you have this Lorex long. So you say, okay, well, it's a Lorex. Let's see. See, it's making its way up to the wall. So you say, okay, let's see what happens with the Lorex. But let me point something else out. Not only did you have the Lorex, but you also had what do we have here? Market trending down, pullback, down further on half the volume. You have ODD, right? So you have ODD on the 30 tick here. That's not good. So now you have a Lorex, which I would not want to get in immediately in an LRE to go back short against the Lorex. But this ran up a pretty good ways up here. So yeah, maybe I'll take a Lorex up here. But by the time it ran up and got here, on the 30 tick chart, that ODD bar closed. So that's confirming the ODD. So now I'm thinking, okay, yes, that bar closed. Yes, it could come back down. But now we had ODD. We had a Lorex that goes into ODD on the 30 tick. I don't want to have any part of that. I'm not looking for a short right now. I'm not looking for a short. So if we look at the 30 tick here, if we look at the 30 tick, it's pulling back. Now, this line does pull back too. So this bar, it's pretty close, but you don't have an LRE. You're at 509.75. The line is at 12, so you're too far away. Next bar, you're at 510.50. Solid line, 14.25, too far away. Next bar, oh, here we go. Now it went all the way up here, which your LRE, you could have got in right around here at 13.50 or so. Okay. 13.50, so it'd be up here. So here's the problem. Here's the problem. If you got in up there, which would be right around here, now you have to come back down with these ZOIs, 3 clusters, and a wall. If anything, I'm thinking this can just get choppy right in this area. I'm not expecting this to run back down. We had a Lorex long, ODD to go long, and then now we're way up here for an LRE to chop around. So in the elite room, this is the one that I said I would not take this. There's no way I'm taking this one because of all that. And then where's my... There it is. And then if you look what happened, ran all the way up. So you would have definitely lost if you took that one. So that was one to stay out of. And then I think there was one more that I said I would not get into. This one, which was 909, a little after 909. So let me fast forward. Okay. So here I was saying, let's see what happens if it breaks this. Might go hit settlement. If it breaks it, so it broke it a little bit. But now here, right when it broke, it didn't quite hit settlement, bounced off this mini magnet. But what did it leave here? ZOI crash. What do you have right above it? This bar left a ZOI. This bar came down, pulled back up, left a ZOI. So that created a crash. So now price is in between two ZOI crashes. Let me show you the 30 tick. What do we have on the 30 tick? Same time, ZOI crash. What else do we have on the 30 tick? Star low volume score with the ZOI. SLZ on the 30, off another ZOI, right at settlement, going long. I'm not looking to go short against that. I don't want to go short against that. So if you have an LRE to go short, like we have right here at 501, oh, that's the other thing. We're at the 500 level, right? So at 501, do I want to take an LRE there? Which would be right there. If this crash hadn't happened, maybe because you're bouncing off of a crash, but we're stuck in between crashes. And then this was also on the 30 as an SLZ. So that's telling me maybe the market wants to go long now. And as you can see here, sure enough, it went all the way up to that wall. So if you would have got in here at about 501, you're out. You're knocked out. And you would have lost. So that was a reason to stay out of that one too. And then the market eventually ended up, kept going long. And then we got into dark zone. So that was it for me in the morning. So that's why I only took that one trade. Skipped down onto potential LREs that could have looked okay. But yeah. So couple reasons why not to get one. A lot of reasons why I like the first one. All right. I hope this helps you and have a great day. Take care.